I am a watch amateur, as you can tell from the title of this video, and I am ranking watch brands. This is gonna be a long one, so sit down, relax, grab some popcorn, chill, put this on in the background like a podcast. Now, let's explain the categories. In my dreams, it's self-explanatory. Nice is like, yes. It's not just like, nice. It's like, nice. Yeah, I'd cop is like, yeah. Like, I think there could be a moment in time in the near future where I may put credit card to card reader for this watch. Don't hate, don't love. It's kind of, again, it's self-explanatory, but it's like, yeah, I could take it, I could leave it. Or more so, it's more for those brands that I can acknowledge do good things, but I know they are also not for me. And I think we all have brands that are like that. Next is couldn't pay me. That's like literally, you gave me the watch for free and just said, wear it, and I would refuse flat out. I would just say no, even if you gave me money. And then absolute vom. Like, just the sight of it makes me just, and I'm telling you, I'm not joking. There have been watches where, like, if I've been on TikTok live and somebody has suggested it, as soon as I've clicked on the image and it's come up, I don't want to look at it. That's that category. All right, let's get started. Breitling. So overrated in my opinion. They probably have great heritage, but they do not make good value watches. I'm seeing some watches that are like 5, 10, 15 grand. It's between these two because I've not seen a single Breitling where I've liked it. I'll put it there for now. Rado, they do some interesting things, but just not for me. I do like their bold use of colors, but just not for me. Not for me. Tudor. Now, we're starting strong, but Tudor is one of very few brands where I do not like a single one of their watches. Absolute vom. Mercure. Now, this is an AliExpress brand. I've reviewed like 3 of their watches on TikTok and or on YouTube. Yeah, nice. I really love what they do. Breguet. I think old Breguet, yes, but I don't really know anything about what they do now. I don't think I'd ever buy a Breguet just because of the price point. There are many brands that they've influenced and I get enough enjoyment out of what they've influenced at a price point that is like so much lower. So it's gonna have to go there, sadly. Jacob & Co, right? I think they know who they serve, and they serve people who have so much money that they don't know what to do with. You know, people look at the Jacob & Co, and I'm sure a lot of people say, look, it's not worth it. You know, their watches are worth millions, But I feel like they make watches for people who have tens of millions to spare. And so that is like buying a sandwich. Like, I don't think they make watches for millionaires. I think they make watches for billionaires. I wouldn't put them there. I wouldn't cop. Don't hate, don't love. AP straight there. straight there, just for the Royal Oak, but also because they've done some very, very nice things outside of the Royal Oak as well. They're not like Tissot to me, where they've only done one good watch and then they've kind of rested on that. Yema, you know what, they go right here. I don't think I'd ever cop a Yema just because of the price point. At the moment, from what I've seen from them, they don't have anything that stands out enough to me to like. And then on top of that, all of their stuff is very similar. And similar to like Panerai, similar to Maine or Man or whoever make the Manhattan watches. It's like, okay, it's really interesting because if you make one thing, then the people that love your stuff will love everything that you put out. But if people don't like your stuff, they then won't like everything you put out. And that's where I stand with Yema. Furlan, Marie, whatever. I think they'd go in the same category for a similar reason. I think I prefer them over Yema. Furlan Marie, they remind me of Baltic and Fairer. I think more so for me, for them, there's a slight lack of originality. I may be wrong about that, but also the price point. FP Journe, they make interesting things. It's very hit or miss for me. I'd never cop just because of the expense. And there are so many other watches I like more than theirs. Yeah, it's got to go there. And I'm ranking all of these as brands more than just based on the watches I like. Frederic Constant, they're going right there. Just because I know I will at some point buy something from them. I just know it. They're a very good brand in terms of overall. But I'll say this. A lot of their stuff is very clearly, I don't want to say ripped off, but very heavily inspired, at least by Breguet, and I'm sure some other things. For me, the overall consensus with them is that there's a few homages, shall we say, and I'm still waiting to see the next thing they do that I can say is 100% them. I understand that brands, you know, to get budget coming in, have to kind of start by iterating other people's stuff and then slowly branch out. But for Frederic, I need to see more branching out before I can trust them as a brand. Glashütte. I just don't know much about Glashütte, but from what I've seen, boring. Couldn't pay me. Gucci. Okay, I'm a design first kind of collector. There is one Gucci watch that I genuinely think I will buy at some point, and it's the G Timeless. And what I love about it is that there's no other watch I've ever seen like it, not once, anywhere. The only issue is that it's £1,000. And I think it's a quartz as well. But just like supply and demand, if I'm not able to get it anywhere else, they have every right to charge £1,000. And I have every right to spend my money on it. But other than that, there's not much Gucci I like. So I'd put them as a brand in the don't love, don't hate, Moser. Okay, if there was a category above in my dreams, Moser would go there. Moser is my absolute highest of high brand. I'm trying to put it above AP. There we go. Moser. Love their streamline. They've not put out a bad watch ever. That's all I have to say. Invicta. Yeah, come on. We knew that was happening. Main, yeah. Couldn't pay me. No. We'll put them in don't love, don't hate. And I'd probably put them above Gucci. They have the one silhouette and, you know, they've got some creative dials, but other than that, I'm not a fan of the overall case thing that they seem to be obsessed with. Christopher Ward, yeah, right there. The Bel Canto, gorgeous. The 12, gorgeous. 12X, gorgeous. They are definitely on a streak right now. They're doing great things. Yeah, they go above Mercure for sure. I almost bought a Bel Canto and I almost bought a 12 as well. They are just slightly out of my price point every time I'm looking for a watch like theirs. So with their Sonnerie, I was looking for a Sonnerie just because I'm thinking, okay, I've got ADHD. Might it be beneficial for me to have something that chimes every hour? I was looking at Britt Pierce's video on it and I thought, you know what? Something to look into. But turns out there's a brand doing minute repeaters for £1,000, and I can get the hourly ring on a Casio G-Shock. So yeah, but I'm sure I will buy something from them one day. Venezianico, definitely there. I think I'd put them just below Mercure. Venezianico, I've already done reviews on their watches before. I enjoy them as a brand. There's not many watches they make that I don't like. They are quite affordable for what they offer. And most of all, I love their design. Omega. Will I ever buy an Omega? I don't think I'd ever buy an Omega brand new, but I would potentially buy one secondhand. But I'm gonna have to put Omega here just because I know everyone loves them, but they don't really make anything that makes me jump. You know, I do like some of their vintage stuff, like I've seen on Chrono 24, just some general Genève whatevers, but Omega as a brand, there's no new stuff or anything like that that makes me, you know, excited. Longines, Adcop. There's a couple designs that I really enjoy, one of which is they're the only brand I've seen do two things. One, like affordable annual calendar watches that are good with, you know, heritage. But the other thing is hour markers, not hour markers, but I don't know what the word is, Roman numerals, whatever, but their numbers having it etched into the dial. Gorgeous. So I'm I'm a bit more so in the don't hate, don't love category, but I can honestly say I've tried on a few Longines and I know I'll buy one at one point. Yeah, I'd cop section. Swatch, nobody is as collectible as they are. I'm all for brands that are all for the people. They do lovely, fun collections. I cannot hate on Swatch. I think my first introduction to them was with the Moon Swatch. I bought a Snoopy. Yeah, they do good things and they know who they serve. I cannot hate on that. San Martin. This is an AliExpress brand. Yeah, I'd cop. There's definitely, like, they've just put out some amazing textured dials that look like Grand Seiko level stuff. Now, I know I just lost like 50 subscribers saying that, but I cannot deny that they are finally starting to branch out from just copying designer luxury watch brands, and they're doing their own thing. I have to respect it, and I know for a fact I will buy something from them at some point. One of their texture dial watches was like almost in my cart at one point, and the only thing that stopped me from getting it was the shade of purple just wasn't right for me, and then the shade of like silver that they were going for is just a little bit off, but soon they will. Rolex. If you're a Rolex fanboy, exit the video now. Nothing I say on this video is hyperbolic. I speak truly and honestly. I'm not a Rolex fan by any stretch of the imagination. I hate most Rolexes. Most Rolexes would go in the couldn't pay me category. Not absolute vom, but definitely couldn't pay me to wear it. But, it's strange. I really dislike most of their watches, but one of their watches is like so high up for me, and it's their new 1908 with that light blue dial. That guilloche and that color with the brown strap. Rolex has to go in the yeah I'd cop, because I'm on the wait list right now for the new Air King. But if it weren't for those one or two watches, I also love the Cellini. If it weren't for that small handful of watches I really liked, Rolex would probably go in the couldn't pay me / don't hate, don't love category. A Lang & Söhne. I think A Lang & Söhne are similar to FP Journe and Breguet for me, where I just don't know much about them. I feel like these are companies that had their big time before I was even born. They're more like history watches, and I'm not big on history in anything. In music, fashion, I'm just not big on going too far back. I'm a 90s baby, so I kind of don't really go further back than the 90s with anything. So I'm gonna put them in the don't hate, don't love. Casio. Yeah, I'd cop or nice. I'd put them right in the middle. It would be cool if Casio did like luxury versions of what they already do. I'd say for now, they're in the yeah I'd cop for one main reason. They're finishing. Now, of course, they make £20 watches, so what can I expect? But outside of their G-Shocks, I think when they attempt to do stainless steel looking bracelet integrated, when they try and do dress watches and other things of that sort, it's so cheap to the eye that I struggle with Casio. I've got 2 Casio dress watches, and I've got a Casio World Time and a G-Shock. So I'm not just hating on the sidelines here. I think what they do well, and just like Swatch, they serve who they serve. So I have to respect it, but no Casio has ever made me, wow, Baltic. Don't hate, don't love. Only for one reason. As soon as I realized that Baltic, they ripped off Longines with one of their most famous watches, and so now, similar to Frederic Constant, I don't feel like I can trust them yet until I see them do more things that are way more unique and proprietary to them. I say trust because as a new watch collector, I've already been burnt with buying watches that I thought were super cool and unique, only to find that they were really rip-offs, homages, iterations of watches I didn't know existed. The thing with the Baltics is that, like, I was close to buying one until I seen that they'd ripped off Longines. So then it's like, for me as a new guy, I'm like, what if all of their stuff is a ripoff and I just don't know it? Just like a brand that is coming up soon, Bulova. Most of Bulova's stuff are homages, but if you're not into watches, you wouldn't recognize it, and you just buy. Formex make really good watches, really unique watches. They make watches I like, but every time I check the price of one, I'm like, just too much. Just too much. I think I will cop one day, just not now. Brew Watch and Co, same thing. Don't hate, don't love. They're the same as Main. They're the same as Panerai. They just make one thing in different ways. And if you don't like that one thing, that's it. Now, the thing that they make, I'm not a hater of it. I just don't love it. Hence, it's in that box. Spinnaker, definitely I'd cop. I'm definitely going to get something soon. I think for me, I'm not a fan of dive style watches. There's only one or two I've ever like fallen in love with. One of them being this Seiko SKX burnt orange skeletonized. The other one, Seiko Sumo. But I hate Submariners. I don't really like Seamasters. I hate the black bays. So in terms of dive style with the bezels, Spinnaker makes some very interesting ones. I just want to see what they make. Yeah, I'd cop is where they're at. Studio Underdog, it's sad because I know people there, but I cannot say I'd cop because they're just a bit out of budget for me for what they do in terms of what I like. Kyoto, nice. They do some nice things. Wow, the textured dials from Straum, gorgeous. Xeric, same. Beautiful, interesting, unique complications and such strange ways to tell the time. They're just out of my budget, but yeah, nice. Come on, did we ever see it going any other way with Patek? Yeah, Patek make arguably one of my favorite watches. The 5711, timeless, fantastic. I'd take it in any color, any time, any place. And what I do like about Patek as well is their dress watches. They do some wild, beautiful, artistic designs outside of the Nautilus. So yeah, Cartier. Yeah, I'd cop. I've tried on some Cartiers. They just don't suit me. I'm a big guy. I don't really dress like old money. It doesn't suit me, but I do like the De Santos or the Santos Dumont or whatever. I like most of their stuff. So I think I would cop at one point. Hublot gets so much hate. Hublot is just in the don't hate, don't love for me. I'm a businessman, so I understand supply and demand, and I get that their stuff is overpriced. But as long as they have a market of people that are willing to buy their stuff enough to keep the lights on, the fact that they are still a business that runs suggests that there are enough people that like what they do. So why would they stop? Why would they change? We don't need another Casio. We don't need another Seiko. Hublot fill that market. I feel like Hublot do what Jacob & Co do, but just cheaper. Not in terms of design, but in terms of who they sell to, which I would say is just people that have a bit of money and want to show that off. Yeah, I don't hate the Big Bang from Hublot. Daniel Roth in my dreams. Yeah, that one silhouette alone. I don't need to see anything else. That's it. Yeah, Daniel Roth. They make some of the best non-circular watches ever. Gégé Lecoutre. Yeah, nice. They're not in my dreams. Apart from their like Reverso or whatever. They do good stuff. They do good stuff, but I think they make watches for horologists, and I'm not really a horologist, as you can tell from this list so far. Chapek. Yeah, I'd cop. They've done some beautiful things. I need to see more about their price point before I could say, yeah, I'd cop. So maybe they shouldn't be in the yeah, I'd cop section. But you know what? Let's assume I could afford it. Because look, I didn't think I could afford a Grand Seiko, and then I got one. So, Laurier, boring. My goodness, couldn't pay me. IWC couldn't pay me. Panerai couldn't pay me. Their watches are too huge. Piaget, don't love, don't hate. I think they make a gorgeous tiger's eye watch. They make some interesting dress watches, but don't know enough about them. Again, I feel like they are a old brand. Richard Mille, I would place along with Hublot. Heavily overpriced, but they do good stuff and they know who they serve. I don't think anyone who has a Richard Mille needs to worry about value for money. They just don't. Tissot, yeah, I'd cop. They are definitely just, you know, without the PRX, I don't think they're anything. The Gentleman is okay, but outside of the PRX, I don't know anything else about Tissot. I just don't like anything else they've ever done. But I like the PRX enough that that's okay. Zenith, don't love, don't hate. Most of their stuff is out of my budget anyway. It just seems super overpriced to me. So you know what? They actually should go there. Tag Heuer, same. Most of their stuff, you know, I have the budget for Tag Heuer, but there's not a single Tag Heuer I actually like outside of the Caliber 5 of the Tag Heuer Link in blue. That is a watch that's actually on my watch list right now. But outside of that, sorry. So when I look at this list, yeah, I'm happy with this list. This is how I truly feel. And I'm sure some of you hate me and some of you love me even more.